already. Welcome, team. Some issues with the live stream. So you won't be live streaming today, but it'll be recorded and then put up on the website with links, etc. Later on. So I'd ask you now to please all be upstanding, and I'll lead us in prayer. Source of wisdom and guidance. As we gather here today in service to our community, we pause to acknowledge the responsibility entrusted to us. Grant us clarity of thought as we navigate a season of great change, in the wisdom of reform and uncertainty, in the face of reform and uncertainty. Help us hold steady for what truly matters for the people we represent. Bless our conversations with respect and understanding. Where perspectives differ, may we listen openly and act with humility. Where challenges arise, may we show courage, creativity and compassion. May our decisions today lay strong foundations for tomorrow, preserving local voice, protecting community wellbeing, and upholding the trust of those who call this district home. Guide us to lead with integrity, to steward resources wisely, and to approach every task with the hope for a better future. We ask your blessing upon this council, our staff, our partners, and who all contribute to this place we love. May unity, wisdom, and service light our way. Amen. Now, please remain standing for our waiata.
E re re ra e aku ai Māori, e Māori ni atura ki a koutou e. E re re ra e aku ai Māori, e Māori ni atura ki a koutou e. Rangi tata ki runga pure ora ki raro te tai o ana te uri ki waho e. E re re ra e aku wai mihi e.
Thank you, Jess. Please stay standing. I'm just going to ask you to stay standing. I'd just like to acknowledge the recent passing of Reese Taylor, who was just a wonderful soul. The community loved him dearly, as did we within the council. So I just ask you all to be upstanding for a minute's silence. Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. It was a last-minute chat GPT prayer, but I was quite impressed with AI. Well done. Welcome, everyone. Great to have you with us for our first full and proper meeting. I'll call for apologies. We don't have community board in attendance for today, but they will be with us into the new year. Any urgent business? We did discuss, because in the background we've been working on the letter of expectations for TDHL and VT. We pretty much have TDHL's one finished. We haven't actually brought it through council previously, and I don't think we necessarily need to. We just wanted to highlight it. That Michelle, we've got the final version. Has that been the final version being sent to everyone?
I think I did copy all councillors in this morning to their email.
Yeah. So unless there's anything pressing that you're not comfortable with, maybe let's call by the end of day tomorrow. So Wednesday, 5 o'clock, we'll send that one specifically off on Thursday. Cool. Okay, items of a minor nature. No, so we go now to confirmation of minutes. Minutes of the council meeting held on 28th of October. Can I have a move for those minutes, please? Councillor Burt. Yeah, Councillor Wilson, thank you. Put the motion now, those in favour, please say aye. Against carried. Go to minutes, 7.2, council meeting, 31st of October 28. May I have a mover? Councillor Scott, Councillor Thomas.
Got a question on one,
Oh,
sorry.
have you? Yes, no, go for it.
Uh,
What was your question?
I listened to what one you just said. Was that 31st of October?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I just have a question. Sorry. Just, I feel there was an action that came out of 7.2. And that was around,
What
Can I
page?
how should you find the page? Not here. No,
3.2 is 33.
okay. I've got no page numbers, sorry. And it's just around the full internal review required. I just don't want us to lose sight of that, and around TDHL, TDC, Audit New Zealand internal review is required. And I just want to capture that.
Yes, okay. No, that's right. What we'll do is just add that just to the actions list for council, just so we, so that is captured. Cool. Comfortable with that? Yeah, perfect. Happy to move. Councillor Scott? Yeah, perfect. And Councillor Thomas? No further discussion. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against carried. Move now to 7.3 minutes, the council meeting held on the 4th of November 2025. If there's no discussion, can I have a mover for that? Councillor Shannon, thank you. Councillor Burt? Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against carried. We'll go to 8.1, which is schedules of functions attended by Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Councillor. And this is a bit of a work in progress. And as you can see, we're trying to expand on previous ones, as we've probably done for the chairs, but also committee chairs, but also chairs of community boards, etc. as well, just around some transparency and what have you. So that's a work in progress, but over the next couple of terms, if we can try and fill that up from meetings that councils have been in and the likes of Jess and Nation, that is easy as possible for you. But otherwise, I'm happy to, yes, Chris, sorry, Councillor Thomas.
It's just to clarify what we need to put in there. So attendance at events, is attendance at meetings, things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
I just need some clarification.
No, that's cool. So within the team in back office will be able to pick up your meetings attendance and put that in. And if there's other things, I think we're putting a little template or something.
We're going to put a link to the website with all of the meetings that have been.
Oh, so if you're attending something in a council capacity, just feed that through and we'll just try and update it. And just a, high level number of, meetings with the public, those sort of things, just about a little bit about accountability and transparency as best we can. You don't want to make it overly onerous. There's a lot of the stuff that will sit in your meeting stuff as well. I don't want to create more work for you, but it'll probably take you 5 or 10 minutes a month to drill into it, I would imagine. And as long as you're doing something, just keep it in your calendar, go back to it, flick it through, and because collate it for you. So I'll move that from the chair. Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Jackson. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Gets carried. Go now to first report 9.1. So we've got Logan and Di from Beach Timber. Welcome up, and we do have ND on Nigel Davenport on Teams. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we'll pass over to you. Whoever wants to lead, Nigel, Logan.
No worries. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your time. So I'll just give a bit of a brief opening and then Nigel and Di will be able to dive into a bit more of the operational details in the report. But yeah, just from a board perspective, the last quarter has been much more of the same. So effectively just continuing to focus on new and existing business. And obviously cruise ships have kicked off again, which is a fair bit of detail in the report, which we'll run through. So in terms of existing business sentiment, it's probably notable. There's been an increase in activity of deferred previous capital projects and interest in reigniting some capital projects that have been sort of not on the back burner, but sort of waiting. So it's great to see a bit more activity picking up around the existing business networks we're discussing with. And yeah, Nigel can discuss a little bit more detail about that. But yeah, probably also notable is the new business inquiries we're talking to and discussing with at the moment. They're feeling a little bit more serious and they've got a bit more motivation to discuss and go a bit deeper than probably the last sort of 12 or 24 months. And we think that's a bit of a sign that there's a bit of business confidence starting to build again, which is fantastic for South Canterbury and for the district. So with that, I'll pass over to Nigel and Di to run through our reports.
Thanks very much, Logan. I take it everyone can hear me
Because
okay.
I'm conscious that we have also received your annual report at the AGM and what have you. So do you want to try and treat them as one, just in the interest of your time as well? And then we'll just move the resolution. So as far as councillors, if you've got questions across both of them, we'll just raise them at this time. Thanks. Back to you, Nigel.
Thank you, Worship. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry I can't be there in person today. Look, I'll take the quarterly report as read. It's in the format that we moved to earlier this year, which was very well received by the elected members and everyone. First of all, I just want to thank you for your time at the induction session. It enabled us as VT to dive in a wee bit deeper around a bit more detail around those existing and new business engagements. As you'll appreciate, a number of them are commercially sensitive, so it was an opportunity to provide you with a wee bit more meat on the bones in relation to those. So both those of you that were at the induction session and a subsequent follow-up with one of the elected members who couldn't make it. So thank you very much for your time in that regard. So as Logan said, especially the last 3 months, and it's continued as well as that, you know, it's been a pretty difficult last 18, 24 months from an economic environment perspective. But we've certainly locally come out of our winter hibernation with gusto. As Logan mentioned, a number of known existing business expansions and developments are well underway and announced. Obviously, Barkers is all but into the implementation of their new facility. Fonterra announced a new $75 million butter line, and there are at least 3 or 4 others that we know of at the moment. Announcements will be coming over the coming months, and we've been sitting alongside those, working closely with them, and obviously TDC officers and others to help progress and help inform those investment decisions. So very busy time ahead locally in that regard. Likewise, under the new business, as Logan mentioned, and again, that ability to dive into those a wee bit deeper with you recently. And we've established, as you'll see in the report, our new CRM to provide a bit more visibility around some of those opportunities that we're dealing with. Of particular highlight in that space over the last 3 months, we attended the New Zealand Aerospace Summit up in Christchurch. The local business was with us as well. There's been some introductions made into that sector, evidencing that local capability. We're just finalising a summary of our local capability across assets and the likes of engineering and precision engineering and others. And that will feed into the broader Canterbury capability platform that we use to promote that sector internationally. So very exciting times ahead in relation to that. The Towards 2050 plan, as is commented on there, Tania is moving forward with her reconnection with all elected members. Thank you to those who have had chats with her recently, and those that haven't, you are scheduled, I believe, either leading into Christmas if it's not too busy or very early in the new year. So our aim there is to finalise that draft and reconnect with that leaders forum that was facilitated by the Mayor at the start of this process. Ara, the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and myself, along with a few local stakeholders, had a good catch up with Ara. Really just the first re-engagement with Ara now that they are confirmed as a standalone entity as from the 1st of January. And there's a distinct opportunity there for us to help formulate and shape what that fit for future campus will be, given its importance to us here. Promotion, I'll take it as read in there. Di can answer any questions, but yes, we received the first cruise visit on the 28th of November. Those of you that were walking around town would have seen the vibe and vibrancy that that visit brought. And we have 3 more. Next one's due on the 7th of January. And the other bit, just wanted to point out, had again a meeting with the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor and Paul Cooper, just with a couple of property owners in our CBD. Huge opportunity, I think, with the relaxation of some of the EPB and also the geotech report, etc. Real opportunity for us to elevate and help facilitate more in their city living to add that vibrancy. And there are a number of local property owners, yes, that have done some development, but others that are looking at it as well. So we're engaging with Mr. Cooper, the Mayor, and the interim CE in that regard as well. So the only other point I'd just like to make is it was opportune after some discussions with Deputy Mayor Shannon around the new development and growth committee. I put in the report just some thoughts that we as the Economic Development Agency and the RTO have around the importance of those economic enablers. Just a wee bit of a brain dump there, but I thought it was important and quite timely for us as your Economic Development Agency just to put forward and get down in black and white some of our thinking in that regard, but hugely important as a foundation for us all to move forward and enhance even further the great plans that are underway, both with existing and also those businesses that we're looking to attract as well. So I have not got anything else probably to talk to other than the financial performance through to 30th September. We're only 3 months in and we're tracking pretty much in line with budget. Some of the figures, we just need to regularise those from a budget perspective. They were just extrapolated out over 12 months. But now we're into the year, we can formulate those a wee bit more and get those timings right. So yeah, look, as Logan said, very busy time at the moment locally. We're certainly coming out the other end. We're hearing good things from our construction and trade sector, not just off the back of the work that Council's doing at the stadium and up at Orangi Park, but you know, the residential, commercial and industrial sectors are starting to reignite some of those plans that Logan mentioned. So it was awesome to be out with the Mayor and others at the launch of stage 1 of Alpine Energy's switching station out there at Washdyke. And the important thing here, that sets a good foundation, but the important thing is to ensure we get those stage 2 and stage 3 done. That's where we reap the benefits of getting additional power and capacity into that very important part of our district, which in turn helps spread the load as well. So great work being done by Alpine Energy, again, as one of those key economic enablers. So look, happy if Di wishes to add anything more, but happy to take any questions as well. So thank you for your time.
Nigel, Logan, Di, have you anything further?
Just a brief comment. Thank you, Your Worship, and good afternoon to all the councillors and the new councillors. Welcome aboard. For us, one of the things I just wanted to re-emphasise is the importance of the economic impact of events that we have in the region, and we were trying to make a region the destination of choice, which we are working hard to do. Events really help us, so we're grateful and appreciative of the support, the continued support through the Major Events Support Fund.
Thank you. Thanks, team. I'll go now to questions. So again, questions across the 2 reports. Councillor Jackson.
You mentioned in the report about the hotel. I know that there's been a lot of talk about the need for a hotel here locally, 80 to 120 rooms. It says here that you're working with willing partners. So my question is, how willing are those partners?
We have probably 1, 2, at least 3 property owners in the in or near the CBD that are as willing as they've ever been to engage and attract a hotel and play their part in that. And for us, Councillor Jackson, as you're well aware, and I'm sure others are, this is a really critical piece for us. We have quite a unique accommodation sector, a very strong corporate presence during the week, but our ability to, as Di points out, from an events perspective, to attract some of those, national meetings and other types of events, having a hotel of that sort of standing is critically important to us. So as much as it's ever been, and in fact, if you could elevate it even more, it's a laser-like focus for us in ensuring that there's a number of new operators that are looking at New Zealand now. We are fortunate that we have a local entity that services that sector and has very deep connections. So we're looking to farm those as much as possible. And obviously some of those parties that I mentioned that own the property are doing their own thing. We're not there to get in the way. We're there to support them and just make sure it happens.
With the ARA meeting, which you've reported, I just want to make sure that, as well as the sectors that you're sort of highlighted in your report that are attending meetings like that with ARA, that you don't forget the other sectors that seem to have been missed out in your narrative, arts and culture and tourism, which I think are also a big part of the future educational frameworks that we need to be putting in place. And I know that there's a lot of other operators than ARA that are providing education. And I just want to make sure that in the picture, arts and culture and tourism don't get missed out.
No, definitely, Councillor Thomas. This was very much the first meeting of re-engagement. It was important. We couldn't get everyone in the room at the start. There was some conversations that needed to be had with ARA around ensuring that fit for future foundation, and very much so. This is about developing an educational hub that delivers what we need as a community locally. To take your point, you're exactly right. I think there are 3,000 students undertaking vocational education in the sub-region or in South Canterbury at the moment. And Andrea Leslie, who is now on the council of ARA, formerly with Primary ITO, made that point that many are invisible. So we're looking at highlighting and getting that information out there, but at the same time also looking at that variety of delivery that ARA and others have locally, and ensuring A, that it's fit for purpose, and B, that it meets the needs of our community. So so definitely we did highlight a couple of those initial sectors, but I take your point and they will not be missed in that conversation.
And one thing I learned that the funding of how they fund education through their system made local government look simple. Overly onerous and complicated. But yeah, thanks Nigel and Scotty also for leading that. That's great. Further questions on this side? No, this side? No, looking pretty good. Okay, we'll go back to the resolutions. So we'll go first to 9.1, which is on page 60. Can I have a mover for 9.1? Councillor Burbs, Councillor Shannon, got the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Against, carried. And then we go to 9.2, a mover and a seconder for that. Councillor Pye, Councillor Biddington, got the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Awesome. Thanks, team. Really appreciate you giving out your time. Thanks, Nige.
Thank you. Can I just close by saying a big thanks from us at Venture Timaru on behalf of the board and staff of Venture Timaru. Wish the mayor, the elected members and all the staff a safe and happy Christmas, and we hope Santa is kind to you all. Look forward to seeing you in 2026.
Hey, thanks, Logan. Thanks, Di. Really appreciate that. So we move now to 9.3, which is in 9.4 as well, which is presentation of TDHL annual report and the limited quarterly report. I'll just again bear in mind that we have just had AGM setting up. If there's anyone may have questions that wasn't present, we won't relitigate the whole report since we've had the opportunity to go through that already, but I'll pass over to you, Mark and Fraser.
Thank you, Your Worship, councillors. Thank you for having us today. We'll take the annual report as read and welcome any questions after we've given a bit of a rundown on the quarterly report as well. So pleased to present the TDHL report from 1st July to the 30th of September 25. The report's prepared in accordance with 25-26 Statement of Intent, including the relevant financial statements and activity updates. The statements reflect forecast and typical slow start to a TDHL financial year due to the timing of rental receipts and Prime Port dividend not being received until the second quarter. Despite this, TDHL has produced a strong operating profit and is tracking ahead of year-to-date budget. I will hand over to Fraser for some more of the operational updates.
Thank you, Mark. Just on some of the activity updates, it's another busy quarter working with the board and chair of Alpine, also engaging with our shareholders and get the work program for the next few months. On the property portfolio, towards the end of the quarter, those key projects were nearly completed, and being the Union Bank and the Hay Street ceiling project, those are now being completed, so it's good to get them done and dusted. In regard to the financial and profit and loss, I'll just point out the revenue there is slightly below year-to-date budgets. It's a timing matter because of a tenant which has gone from 6 monthly payments to monthly payments, and the expenses are also slightly below budget as a result of invoices for physical projects not coming in until this quarter. And the other income you see there is a impact of our interest rate swaps.
And we'll welcome questions. Thank you.
Righty, team, questions? Yeah, Councillor Piddington.
Thanks, Mark. I guess what's come into focus recently is the fact that we're going to have a rates cap for whatever it is, around 4%, which not only highlights our spending, but our investments. And being our investment arm, do you have any magic wand that you're going to be able to wave over the next 12 months, or any ideas that might help us in that regard?
I don't think we have necessarily any magic wands, but we have some magic ideas. I think reviewing the portfolio would be useful in terms of returns. There will be a range of options that can come out of that. We've been prudent over the last few years, so we've got a strong equity position. We can continue to pay our dividends that we forecast in an increasing amount while we work through some of those longer term options and assess that and engage with council and council with ratepayers as appropriate and needed.
Yeah, look, and once we finalise that LOE, as you alluded to us in those questions of TDHL, so once that's sent to you, once we've confirmed that, we'll make sure that's public as well. Questions either on this side? Councillor Jackson on the corner.
Congratulations, Guy, by the way, on your wins last year. And that was a pretty tough year with Alpine, etc. So there were some good wins. Just got a couple of big questions. One was that you want to focus more on diversification. So what sort of diversification are we talking about there? What comes under that umbrella?
We assess a range of options. We put into place our investment policy statement that sets the criteria and parameters. It was aligned with council objectives so that we realise that we're not a purely commercial entity, but there are the commercial parameters of getting returns. Criteria that we look at preferably within district. Opportunities that broaden the portfolio negative correlated to existing cash flow positive opportunities because the two existing Prime Port and Alpine are heavy infrastructure with limited cash flow, while they have positive, well, Prime Port has positive cash flow, Alpine doesn't. More positive cash generating investments would be beneficial to the portfolio. And we've been looking at a range of options. We've discounted more than we've continued to carry on. But at this stage, I'd prefer not to go into any specifics for commercial reasons. But we will engage with council and ensure that we follow our constitution and statement of intent in making any moves.
Just following on from that, 7% plus return annually over 3 years, which is great. But and that's for your property portfolio. You happy with the way that's tracking? Can you see more growth percentage-wise in that property portfolio?
We're happy with how it's tracking. That is a good return, and there are ongoing pressures in maintaining such a level of return. It is actually at the higher end when you compare it against some other portfolios. In terms of the specifics, I'll hand over to Fraser.
Yeah, I think if, keep in mind predominantly ground leases, so it's definitely performing at the upper end of what a ground lease portfolio would perform at. And then if you include also the capital return. In terms of growth, there are some growth opportunities which we're actively working on, and but by nature they're quite slow because of larger, more complex industrial development, which have got a lot of moving parts to them. So, but we've got the capacity to accommodate a few of those, and we're working on a few at the moment.
Anything on the side? No, all pretty tickety-boo. Conscious that we've already seen in your reports. Anything further to add before I move to resolutions? Merry Christmas.
Sound
Thank you.
And a happy new year.
More convincing.
It's not we are a couple of weeks out. There's not a lot of festive spirit in this room, actually.
It's the tinsel.
Yeah. Okay, so we move to the recommendation. The council receives notice of the audited TDAPL annual report. Thank you, Councillor Burt. Councillor Thomas. No further discussion. I'll put the motion on those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Go to 9.4. Which is council receives notice of the TDHL quarterly report. I'll move that from the chair. Councillor Burt. Motion, all those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. I can see who my high performers are going to be already. Just in my eye. Alrighty, 146. Oh, sorry. Thank you. And Merry Christmas to you too.
Thank you.
Thanks, team. We'll see you soon. 146 is the actions register update. So we've collated across the other three committees and council and tried to appropriately put the action registers where they should lie. And so that was between myself and Jess critiquing me. So it may be horribly wrong. Blame me, not Jess. So if there's something that you think sits in here, that's in here that could sit in a committee, let's just test that as we go through, but we should be roughly okay. So go, and so just for new members, this report comes just an opportunity for government to keep track of key things. So when we're speaking within the council chamber and there's something that specifically you want to keep track on, just raise it and we can have a discussion and potentially put it onto the actions register just so we keep on top of it so it doesn't go missing. So the first one, we'll just go through them one by one. Investigate subcontracting across council. This started back in 23. In the last date update was there's no further update. So we've got the 17A still in progress. Once completed, a report we present to council. Can we just have a time on when that report is going to be coming? Thanks, Susie.
Yeah, so for transport, that's obviously the title is around subcontracting across council.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah,
like
yes.
transport more so, some of the discussions.
Some of it is, yeah, so the transport section 17A is in, the draft report's being written now. So Morrison and Lowe have been working on that with us and for us. And so we'll have something in the new year. I would like to say the January meeting, but realistically probably the February council meeting.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any questions on that one before we keep moving? No? Okay, small trades. There's been some work on that around cleaning and others. There's also been some progress, Mr. Dixon, within the parks team and what have you as well, around employment of different personnel for a variety of jobs. So there is sort of some movement going on there, isn't there?
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. So yes, the business case has been prepared for looking at possibility of bringing in basically some maintenance services, a qualified builder effectively. That would cover both parks and social housing activities. The business case certainly indicates that it's worthwhile doing that in-house. And I think that is in the process, going through the approval at the moment. We're also looking at bringing cleaning in-house as well for mainly our council facilities, which will be the museum, library, art gallery, and this main office. At this stage, we've excluded CBA because of it's out of hours type work. And we're also at public toilets concern in halls, because it's predominantly out of hours and a 7-day week operations. The business case didn't stack up with our current collective employment agreements. They will remain in a contracting services, yeah.
Yep. And those business cases, I assume, get tested at SLT, yeah? Yep.
Yeah, approval was going through with that, both of them, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Councillor Piddington.
I'm just a wee bit intrigued, sort of out of hours. It's a cleaning contract. Surely it should be tested no matter when the hours are.
Yeah, most cleaning you're out is out of hours. Yeah, you're right there. Okay, cool. Sorry, yeah. Yeah.
And Drew, my question just around the thought on the in-house builder. My experience in my workplaces, we have an in-house builder, but they're also backed up by an electrician and a series of other trades that sit in behind. And so I'm just questioning, I mean, what will they provide as a one-man band? Like, what maintenance will they actually do? Or are they going to get quotes ready for other jobs? So I'm just trying to understand what value this will add compared to what you've already got in-house at the moment.
Yeah, so the builder will be supported by 2 parks maintenance people, which we have employed at the moment. The electrical services will be still contracted out at this stage because of the qualification and certification requirements around that. But yeah, at the moment, there is a lot of small building works that are done, particularly in social housing, repairing doors, locks, general maintenance works. That is currently undertaken by a one-man band contract at the moment. So running it in-house, they should be able to cope quite nicely.
And I don't know if you've noticed, but some of I've seen some of our maintenance team around, whether it's benches and what have you. And a couple of years ago, I was watching those and thinking, and great for, those local businesses, but not necessarily cost effective when it's just another coat of stain on a park bench. So it's good to see some of those things being looked at. Alrighty. We'll move now to our vertical infrastructure report. Did you want to talk to this briefly, Mr. Dixon, as well?
Yeah, thank you, Worship. Basically, this has been included as part of our asset management plan for property. So we will be reporting that once that plan is completed early in the new year.
Okay. We've now, financial system's done. I go to freedom camping enforcement. So report is this afternoon on that one, so we can move forward. Rates of revenue review. Andrew, did you want to speak to that briefly?
Briefly, sure. So we have had our initial timeline back from Philip Jones, who did the first workshop. We're just working through with Steph in regards to the timeline of when those next workshops will be, and in light of the rates capping, how or what, if it has any impact or not on the review that we actually need to undertake.
Yeah, and we did, the last conversation we had also was just reflecting on the changes to local government. How much do we want to spend and what approach do we want to have, bearing in mind that, councils might be coming together, with different rating systems, land versus capital, et cetera, et cetera. So we just need to be really smart and not spend a whole lot of money on something that might need some further change. So we just need to step through that one sort of carefully. Go now to, oh yes, sorry, Councillor Scott.
Just, Andrew, with regards to, you say progress as per the project plan, is that an internal project plan? Oh, sorry, I was trying to find you. Project plan, or is that,
No, it
hasn't been socialised here, has it?
No, it hasn't. So we are conscious that there is parts of the review process, like the revenue and financing policy, for example, actually still needs to be done irrespective of where we head from a rates perspective. That feeds into the annual plan and the long-term plan. So that'll be the first step of the process. And then the actual dollars and associated with the rates will be follow on from that.
Perfect, thank you. Now to data on food vendors' rights on Caroline Bay. And that was in relation to the carnival, but also the wider use. So the update is the global consent has been granted. So a copy of the consent approved as approved locations in Caroline Bay arrangements has been distributed to council. This section can now be closed. So I've had a food vendor recently just reach out to me. Have we sort of been proactively going out to the food vendors so they know the rules and around this, Mr. Cooper?
No, I don't have that information, Your Worship, but Mr. Dixon may know more about it as the applicant. So I might push it back there.
We've got to be careful because this food vendor has come into the regulatory space and is getting pushed around. And no, I've spoken to that person and that's together between us.
Yeah,
so I'll just say that.
If someone can provide me something that seems that would be appropriate, but I think we need to proactively say to food vendors what they can and can't do down there because there might be lots wanting to take up the opportunity. Yeah, I'll just go to Mr. Cooper and then come to Councillor Piddington.
I'm happy to take it away, Your Worship. We'll put some words to it and put something out that we can publicly release so that people are aware.
Maybe even a press release for the media would be probably quite helpful. Councillor Piddington.
Yeah, look, I've had a few queries about what the Caroline Bay Association can charge, what their area is, can people go to the line on the other side of the line? So it would be good to get the information out so everyone knows what's happening.
Yeah, regarding the food stuff, and then we'll talk about the camping stuff later. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Thanks, Mr. Cooper. You'll pick that up. Cafe at the Bay. That's coming from Community Services. Mike's not up here, but I have had a conversation with him recently, and that's tracking pretty well. So we might get him to give us an update on where that's at. I'll just write a note on that myself, actually. What's that, sorry?
I think we missed a couple, the
So did I.
Rangatato and the.
I did too. Thank you. Cool. So any questions on the CAF one before I go back? No, cool. South Rangatato Management Plan, that's this afternoon. Policy update for assessment of requests.
I think we need to move this to the policy team between the art gallery and the museum, and the policy team just get it done, because waiting for this code of ethics sounds like they're never going to come.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, so maybe if the next action coming back to that is that exact point. Then we go to district pools. I think I'll pick that up. Yeah, anything from there? Yeah, Councillor Piddington.
Just on the bequest from memory too, it was around if the collection keeps growing
Yes.
in each of those things, where are we storing it? How are we storing it? And what sort of level we say, thanks for your donation, but actually we don't want it.
Yeah. District pools, a single shift consultation. We're missing an update. Imagine what could have been there, but that's all right. Then we go to Chrome platers.
Where are we at with that?
With Chrome platers?
Yeah, it's just gone quiet again.
Mr. Dixon, Chrome platers. I think there you did give us an update recently, but Paulson, where are we at with that one? I can't believe it.
Apparently, our revised proposal, we kicked back on the initial proposal, the fact that they would not fund us by 100%. So we went back to the MFE on that and said, hey, the deed basically says you should be funding 100%. They have reconsidered that, and that's also gone to the minister. A decision's apparently been made, but they want to present that to me. So I've got a meeting, I think, next week. I know it is. So the fact that they want a meeting could be an indication that they're still not going to hit 100%, but we will wait and see.
That's Minister Bishop, yes. That's, is that Minister Bishop?
I'm not sure which minister it is, yeah.
Under MFE still?
Yeah.
He saved the country billions today. Surely he's got a little bit of money for Chrome platers.
We will be if the local MPs coming for a photo op, won't it?
Yeah, that's it.
We're only 700,000 short, it's peanuts.
Yeah, for them, not for us. Okay, no, that's cool. Well, if you can update us once you know, that's great. Then we go to Endowment Land Funds Information Report. Yes, and that was the Geraldine Land Endowment Fund. And there was actually a recent request to their fund. It hasn't progressed yet, so we'll keep you up to date. So that's any further questions before move? So it's just that council receives the notes. Can I have a mover for that? Councillor Pye, thank you. Anyone else that's not on the board that wants to? Councillor Wilson, thank you. Put the motion, all those in favour, please say aye. It's carried. Brilliant, thanks team. Appointments to council organisation, joint committees and affiliated organisations. So 6.1. So this is me for the Regional Transport Committee, which even under reform will still need to exist in some shape or form, but it's something that all the mayors sit on. Really just it's a bit of a tick box, but yeah, to move that. Councillor Shannon, yeah. Can I have a seconder for that? Councillor Burt, put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. And part of this, we have previously actually had someone independent, a councillor on the Regional Transport Committee, but all the meetings tie in Christchurch, Civil Defence, Regional Transport Committee and Mayoral Forum. So there's sort of a little bit of, it doesn't have to be the mayor on this one, but there's a little bit of ease on the fact that I'm in Christchurch for the meetings anyway. So move now to appointments, community board members. I can probably walk through this. This is just their appointments that have to be ratified through councils. So you would have been at those specific meetings. But I'll just move that as a whole from the chair that the council confirms and approves the following appointments as listed. Is there any discussion? No. Can I have a seconder for that? Thank you. Councillor Thomas, I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. 165, Mr. Doran. Page 165, sorry, 9.8.
So this is the statutory paper during the period between the decisions being made and you guys being signed in as councillors. The chief executive's delegated certain rights and responsibilities and is able to make decisions without with consultation with the mayor without asking permission. So this is just listing what decision was made, which was just for a road closure in that period.
Yep. Thank you. So happy to move, Councillor Dirk, thank you. Councillor Scott, any discussion? No. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Doran, and welcome, Mr. Dejoux. You look relieved. It's like the weight of legislation's moved off your shoulders today.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you in here selling sections?
Actually.
Welcome, John and Andrea. Yeah.
Talking to each other.
Yeah. Do we have some cultural issues going on? I'll pass to you. This is sort of self-explanatory, but maybe just a brief explanation on the history. Thanks.
Good afternoon, Your Worship, councillors. I'm rather hoping that this one I don't have to talk too much on, and you know how much I hate talking. So I've tried to set out comprehensively. Now my boss is now looking at me now. I've tried to set out comprehensively what this is about. And it is one of these things which has just been quietly trundling along behind the scenes. It hasn't cost us very much money. It's part of history. Some of you might even remember this all. There's nothing we can do about the future, but they want to tidy up their trust deed so that they can manage the future effectively. So that's what this is about. And it's not worth putting a whole panoply of delegated authorities in place for what is likely to be a one-off request. Questions?
Yeah, questions, Councillor Pye.
It's been a few days since I read this, but I didn't really understand it. It sounded like it was being wound down, but then they were changing their trust deed for the future. But what are they? I couldn't quite get my head around what the purpose was.
About a question. It is in runoff. The whole scheme is not taking any further risk and no more members. Effectively, the idea originally was that local authorities would in effect be their own insurers. That's what it was. And unfortunately, when you're in the insurance game, you end up with long runoffs, long tails of work and business. And they've got issues in the UK arguing about reinsurance parameters and what's covered and not covered. There's been a case recently where Napier, thank you Napier, decided that they would claim under the original risk pool agreement. So that extended things a bit longer. But I tried to set out that our proportion is very low, extremely unlikely that we have any material liabilities arising out of almost any realistic scenario. But they want to tidy up their trust deed so that they can try to expedite the conclusion of the exercise.
Further questions? If not, someone have it. Oh, you can.
Sorry.
Yeah, you go for it.
Read this and thought brain explosion type stuff. Sorry, John. But just with regards to the deed of trust, and you sort of make it quite clear in your report that there is no liabilities on us and there's no cost. However, the way I read 4.4.2 is that I presume we're a member, and it says here that additional contribution by each member in the proportion on which contribution were made, but it says any deficiency. So to me, that reads if there is any, that we will be liable. Any deficiencies in the annual fund for that fund year shall be met by the additional contributions by each member. And do you want me to keep reading or?
No, I can answer your question.
Oh, okay, go for it. You're looking at us. Wasn't
No, I wasn't sure how. Well, D.
No, well, definitely
Just for fun. Yes. No, the change that they are wanting to make adds no additional liability to us. However, we continue to have a low level of liability from the situation that was already in place. So those percentages that I put in, that long table of percentages, that relating to each year is our percentage contribution / liability that we'd be required to make if there's a claim relating to any of those particular years. And they are, I mean, there are other councils in the councils in the country which have significantly greater liability than us, who are rather more concerned about the situation. But from our perspective, we have a liability already.
Yeah.
That liability won't change, but it won't increase because of what's happening with the changes in the trust deed. So I'm sorry if I didn't express that properly, but that was what I was trying to get over, that the changes that they've requested will not add to our liability in any particular way, but we will continue to have our share of liability for anything that happens. And the likelihood of anything that's going to be of such significance that we'd have to come and discuss this again is very low, but it's insurance. And if the planned discussions, potentially cases with the reinsurers in the UK didn't go according to expectations, then potentially there'd be a bigger liability opened up because we as the primary insurers would continue to have our portion. This is why council should not be insurers.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in a couple of insurance companies in my time, and these things literally last for decades. And as you can see, this thing is lasting for decades. So the aim for this trustee variation is that they tidy up the governance so that they can just manage it going forward. And obviously, one of the interesting things is that theoretically they could have personal liability for decisions. And I mean, that's not, you can't run a board with personal liability for well-intentioned decisions and good faith decisions. So there's some practical reasons like that, and they want unanimity. We're sort of tailing Charlie's on this because for us it's very low priority compared with, I don't know, elections and things like that and restructurings, whatever. But all the larger councils around the country have already signed up, and Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, obviously much bigger proportions than we have. So yes, so your question is absolutely correct, that we continue to have a liability, but it will not be increased by the changes proposed in this trustee variation. I hope that's.
Thank you. Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, but like Councillor Scott, I had a bit of a brain implosion too reading this. I was having another one. So why are we part of it? Do we need to be part of it? Is it important? I mean, I was reading up on it, and basically it says it's just a giant insurance club. And it says that doesn't always keep up with the size and cost of modern liability claims, works well for predictable risk, but not when big unexpected things happen.
It's just the historic liability of being a member from way back. So there's no one wants to take on our liability. So you're there until you're not. They'll get wound down eventually.
You're not.
Yeah. I love this exciting topic as much as I do. I'm going to move this one from the chair. Can I have a second? Councillor Harper, are you happy to move that? Thank you. Perfect. I know, I was impressed. Very impressed. Yeah. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Thank you, John. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. 9.10, welcome further team members for
Council Financial Performance Report to 31 October, and that is on page 194. No, wrong one.
Good afternoon. We'll take the report as read and happy to answer any questions.
Solid intro, Tyler, well done. Questions for Tyler and Andrew?
I might just add a little bit to Tyler's. Take it as read.
Thanks, Nigel.
So at the end of October, we've got $4.4 million surplus. We've got to be careful there because there is about $3 million received from EV for the theatre. And when you take that off, you're about 1.4 surplus, which is a good effort actually. So our total revenues slightly under. So, and some of those are starting to show, some issues are starting to show up. Rates is normal, is fine. But we've got a few small minor things such as some related party transactions, about 410 behind. And our staff costs are under budget, and they should be because of the restructuring. However, total that we saved is also slightly reduced from the redundancy costs. So, so next year that'll come through even further. Our expenses are under budget. Our interest is under budget, and but while we're saying we're under budget, there are some changes here that are being listed as changes to various budgets within. Our CapEx is behind. However, in saying that, the budget has been phased on a monthly basis predominantly, and we've got to get that phasing so much better because Sue's about to step into selling season. But there are some others that I'm a little bit worried about. End of October, we're at about 47%, I think, against budget for CapEx, and is now 58% at the end of November. So it's lifted in 1 month. Okay. That for someone who's just been asleep.
Yeah.
Very, very. Before we go to questions, I just want to make one comment, and I think what we've got to be careful in the language we use in the report, and I'm going to use this one word, which is offset. So we've got a budget line over here, and we're saying we're overspent, but it's offset by something over here that's underspent. Actually, you know, here's a fail and here's success. We can't use one for the other, or that shouldn't be the approach. We've got to be, if we're having a win over here, that's great, and we've got to be, you know, celebrating that. But actually, we need to be looking at that that loss and going, well, actually, how do we get there? Especially in the world that we're heading into, you know, that sort of language. And I get it, and sometimes it's necessary, but that language we won't be able to use into the future. But I'll go now to questions. Councillor Shannon.
Thank you. Just a few questions. First of all, well done on the report, and just it's getting better. Really does. And just being able to follow it. A couple of points regarding the numbers there. This is very useful, the actuals and the budget, the variance as well, and further on, the percentage variance is useful as well through the pages. Now, we have identified budgeted revenue and then net debt, and then the next line is forecast net debt, which is really, really good. It's on page number 195. But the revenue still remains as budgeted revenue. I know we've got the year end worst case scenario, but I think it would be useful to know what the budgeted, what the forecast is, forecast for better transparency all the way through. Do you know what I mean?
We haven't done a forecast as yet.
You haven't yet? Okay, so that's on its way, isn't it?
It will be, when the forecast is done, the forecast will be in here. Hence the worst case scenario, which was requested
Right.
a while ago. Essentially that is revenue less subsidies and grants that we may or may not get, and vested assets that we've budgeted at about $6 million, but who knows whether or not we'll get $6 million. So worst case scenario takes those into factor, but making the assumption that the fees and charges and everything at this point remains the same.
Okay, so it's got that to look forward to, haven't I?
Yeah.
That's quite exciting, isn't it? Also, so I'm just finding that here because I'm not very good at doing it on my laptop anymore. Like all the other boys and girls. CBA fees and charges. So I noticed this is again probably a reminder that seasonality, we wanted to see this better reflected in actual budgets. So that's just another reminder to the officers here. But when we're having a look at the pool budgets for each financial year, like to see again last year's numbers being used as a basis for the next year's numbers. So again, we don't look at something and it's way over with an explanation or way under with an explanation.
So the intention was to do budget phasing.
Yeah.
But with the change of staff, annual report, all of that kind of stuff, it didn't actually happen. So the budget was phased pretty much evenly.
Yes.
With the exception of things that were known.
Right, yeah, and I know that our chief executive touched on it, so this is just another gentle reminder that we really need to see this in terms of transparency and understanding what is actually going on. You're better able then to forecast what's going to happen at the end of it. So I know this is not your team, this is our officers that are doing it. And I'm interested, this might be for you, Mr. Cooper, the EQ standards changing requirements, really how this is impacting on us, while it's you and Mr. Dixon actually, Alpine Energy Stadium in Temuka, for example, the earthquake appears that are going to happen here, and where else is this going to influence some of the decisions that are made about our vertical assets, the clarity we have with the earthquake standards on our own buildings, how's that looking at, and how does that impact on our budgets over the next year?
Yeah, we haven't assessed a lot of our own buildings. They're the high risk ones, high use ones have been done. Yeah, Temuka Stadium is no longer earthquake prone. We've done a reassessment of that one. But there are some other ones around, like the Geraldine Cinema is still assessed as earthquake prone. Yeah, there's a stadium, main arena stadium is getting fixed, of course. So we're not aware. I guess what we're doing is trying to understand the new regulations in the first instance.
Thank you. Councillor Shannon.
Can I just go back to that?
Yeah.
It's great that they've changed the standards, and it's great that we've done that. But actually, we're going to have to get engineers to probably redo the assessments.
Right.
And we don't have a lot of money to do that. So we might be coming back cap in hand, or they may show up here.
We have more time.
Just planting the little.
Thanks, Nice.
No.
Just no.
Where's your coffee cup? It's not in the budget. No. Yeah, we'll work through that as we have to. Over the side, team, any questions? No, over here, all pretty good.
Whose job is it?
Yeah.
Whose job is it to tell the councillor on my right that when the word vested assets, that he's supposed to jump up in a tirade?
Prudence, yeah.
Prudence.
Councillor Pennington, you got anything? You're welcome. Cool. Okay. That's good. Yeah, overall really good stuff. But We do all need to start thinking about the regime that is coming at us. So the resolution is that we receive a note. Can I have a mover for that? Councillor Shannon, Councillor Pye. Any further discussion? I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against carried. Thanks, Violet. Thanks, Andrea. Appreciate that. Alrighty, 9.12. Parking on. What did I miss one? Oh no, there we go. Sorry. No, I was just teasing you. I was getting ahead of myself. Annual plan. Thank you. That is 207. Go for it when you're ready, team.
Cool, so through the chair will take the report as read, but I will add a few wee highlights I think that need to be, I guess, commented on in here, because I think it's great, some of the work that's been done in Q1. So specifically NTFJ have already placed 16 clients into employment in Q1, which I think is awesome for that program. Our Smarty Grads and Objective Build systems launched, and yeah, all commentary so far is that everyone's pretty happy with it from user experience. That's great. Our Glen facilities have had really good usership in Q1. Some have already broken their annual targets, which is amazing. And the Appeal for Us closed landfill project has progressed really well in Q1 as well. Obviously, that's progressed even further since the end of the first quarter, but yeah, just a few highlights I think are worth noting. Maybe to take questions.
Thanks. Steph, questions? Councillor Pye.
This point 43, you said there's numerous passes and failures of building warrant of fitnesses. Are they our own buildings or are they the inspections we're doing on the public's buildings?
They're inspections that do on public buildings for their building warrant of fitnesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, Councillor Pennington.
The one above that is kind of the one that makes me nervous. It's not about the Orangi Pavilion, but it's pending the reallocation of a CapEx budget. What does that mean? Because I mean, this is the problem the Mayor's just highlighted. We seem to take money from a project we've designated and someone manages it to shuffle it to a project we don't know about. 42.
On 210.
Page 210.
Orangi Pavilion.
Yeah, I'd probably have to defer to Mr. Dixon on that one, because that's to do with a property building.
Yeah, I can't answer that question off hand, but I can certainly find out what the issue is there. But it's the Orangi Pavilion, I think, is a cricket area.
Yeah. It's the
room, so yeah,
pavilions, yeah.
themes. I can certainly report back on that one.
Okay.
Yes, I'm disappointed at the number of measures not measured throughout the report, not sure why. But then, you know, we all spend our time here and we think it's valuable. So go to the bottom of page 230. The one performance measure is provide dog control education to one school preschool organisation per year. We haven't done it, but apparently they will happen in the fourth quarter. But someone's spending time measuring this, writing it up and delivering it to us for what point? There's just a number of them in there. We seem to not measure the important stuff, yet we're down to dog education. We haven't met the standard anyway, so.
Is it an old dog or a young dog?
He didn't turn up, so we don't know.
Tricks involved.
But I just think we need to review actually what our priorities are.
Yeah, I think Steph can probably speak to some of that.
Yeah, so these performance measures are the ones that council agreed and adopted with long-term plan 24-34. So they are your measures essentially. With that particular one, it is on demand. So if schools or education providers reach out to our animal control team, they go and provide that service. So last year they delivered, I think, 25 and their target was 4.
I get that, but I guess I'm saying, why do we care as a council? Would be major thing. And yeah, we probably agree to it somewhere, but really, I think it's time to review some of these so we're actually laser focused.
We've had that discussion, so we'll do that as part of the Strat LTP work. Yeah, Michelle.
Just to follow on, Steph, my understanding is some are mandatory and some council, and so it'd be really good to colour code or somehow highlight to us which ones are mandatory and which ones are ones that we've approved as part of the long-term plan. Don't tell me you've done that and I missed it.
Yeah, well, technically they're all mandatory because you adopted them. But there are, yeah, you can structure it a wee bit differently in the next LTP, and some councils do, where they have all their statutory measures in one report, and then they have their community benefit or community expectation value measures in a different report. So we can structure it differently, but for now, we've got these, and we report on them.
And Steph will look at me with daggers.
She already has.
Maybe it's a bit like the phasing budgets. Like, providing control education, we're going to do it once a year. Well, actually, we only need to do it on the fourth quarter. So we could actually, you could actually phase this for each quarter.
Yeah, so, yeah, we can structure it differently. So some measures we don't report until the end of the year because they have no value reporting them as a progress, whereas others do. So perhaps maybe that could be an action to take to the first strategic planning committee is we come up with a plan and then we suggest that to council.
Steph, don't take me wrong, I'm not getting at the officers or yourself. I'm just querying why we use valuable officers' times to report on dog control education. Produce a report and go through all that, then we've got to read it.
Because you guys.
Yeah, I get that. We told you to somehow.
It's self-criticism. Well, let's all reflect on that and do better next time. Further questions? Councillor Byron.
So I just have another question on point 51, which is on page 211. Uses your worship's favourite term offsetting, but in a different context. I just don't understand how we've had the Peel Forest landfill on the radar for over 3 years. And then we, if I remember correctly, for audit purposes, we have to do a reassessment of the capacity at Redruth, and then all of a sudden we go, crikey, we're filling it up more quickly than anticipated because of Peel Forest.
I would say for the purposes of this report, it's looking at it from a long-term period, that the cells have a certain life, and suddenly dumping a grand amount of, a large amount of rubbish in there from Peel Forest is reporting that it's filling up as well as we forecast 4 or 6 months ago, just on a holistic term.
I understand that, and again, this is not a criticism of council officers, but possibly the person we paid to write a report for an audit that said this is the lifespan when they should have included Peel Forest in there.
If I could just comment on that, yeah. Basically, yeah, the cell, we've lost about 1 year's life. So the landfill overall has gone from 27 to 26 years in life. So it's, yeah. And the cell that we're filling at the moment was recently installed. It had 5-year life on it. So we're looking at losing 1 year of that. Effectively, we'll have to have a new cell built a little bit sooner than expected, but it's still going to be in the next LTP period, not this LTP. So we did plan for it, yeah. Plus the fact we got a lot of revenue in from the field forest.
Thank you. I just have three questions. One is with regards to the consenting of carry or take. I just wondered if we had an update on progress and if, well, are we making progress? Andrew, I thought it might have been Aaron actually, but.
We are making progress because there's no governance level.
Thank you. There is a technical conference to be held with our officers, ECAN's officers, plus our external support as well that we've got. So it's progressing. Can I put a date on it? No, not at this stage. So yeah, ECAN are keen to process as soon as possible. We're keen to get the best outcome for us. So if it does take a bit longer, it takes a bit longer, but as long as we can get the best outcome.
So technically, it doesn't matter how long it takes because existing white rules,
Certainly,
the longer it takes, doesn't matter, but they should be held to account in terms of, as I said, that hierarchy of prominence, who should have got the take first, and how they did that is just begs belief.
I may have flippantly remarked that it may work in a favour to take a bit longer because they've talked about 50-year consents for the structure. So
wait for the Board of Governors to.
Okay, I think you appreciate it. Just wondered if we could have an update on the gallery. We've still obviously got ongoing renovations there, so are we likely to close that out in the new year? We sort of lost track of that project.
Yeah, I can confirm that that project is basically complete now. The lift platform is operating. And yeah, the new flooring's been down, so yeah, we're just waiting for the final paperwork to be signed that one off.
That's really good news. I'm sure the staff will be happy about that too. So awesome. I feel reluctant to talk about the Strathallan toilets, but I just wanted to give you my experience. I'm not going to the toilet, sorry, on Friday night. I was downtown doing some jobs with my 13-year-old daughter and we need to go to the toilet. Okay, too much info, sorry. And anyway, we're standing there and I thought, no wonder we set ourselves up sometimes when the sign that is there, the big poster, doesn't even reflect what we've built. And my 13-year-old daughter is like, Mum, this picture doesn't even reflect what's here. And I just wondered, I know the project's coming to an end, but is there an opportunity for our communications team to maybe do a bit of an update poster there of what the final thing's going to look like? Because it had grass on OJ's favourite spot, and obviously now it's concrete, and the picture doesn't reflect what we're getting delivered. And I wondered if there's a real opportunity for that to be updated so everyone understands what it's going to look like.
We're going to do one better. We're going to finish it and then take the fences down.
yes.
Okay. I wonder if a poster would get made faster, but anyway.
2 weeks.
Actually, the poster was based on the original design that was put out. That subsequently the orientation of the ramp changed. We weren't aware that people were looking at it in any great detail, to be fair, so we probably haven't replaced it. But
Stephen, you think that people don't look at it? Honestly, they do. They stand there and they go, that doesn't look like it. So this is why we get criticised, because people think it's us that have made these decisions where it's not. And I understand when you're standing there, I'm trying to explain to my 13-year-old daughter, well, no, that doesn't look like that now. No, we've taken that bit out. And I thought, goodness, I'm supposed to be part of this, and I'm trying to explain to my 13-year-old daughter why it's not looking like it does. I can see why the community is frustrated by this project.
Councillor Shan.
Just one, please, but Number 43, Mr Cooper, I've seen numerous passes and failures of building warrant of fitness. All failures relate to the administration of the inspections. Can you just explain that to me, please? All failures relating to the administration of the inspections. What does that mean?
It means that the failures weren't in relation to the status of the building, i.e. whether a fire cell was had a cable run through it or something like that. It related to the administration of it, i.e. arranging for a qualified person, suitably qualified person to come through and do the inspection at the right time. And that's what it relates to. So it's the administrative function of actually getting it organised and getting it done, not the physical inspection of the building in terms of, the fire systems and all the other bits and bobs that go along with the BWAF.
Okay, so what happens then?
They just get told off.
They just get told off, so that is all?
We seek compliance. Yeah.
Councillor Jackson.
Sorry to step this back, but just going on what Councillor Scott was talking about with the Strathallan corner. So just a little bit confused as to, because I saw those initial drawings and I thought there was going to be grass down there, and I've had a few people mention to me that also concrete shingle. Yeah, I mean, the final analysis will be once we actually see the finished thing, I'm sure, but what happened to the grass? And where did it go?
Fake grass.
And why are we having it?
I don't know, high level strategic stuff. We can find out what we will do on this one. We'll throw it, not throw it. We will do a bit of a reboot and have a look at some learnings out of this project. Is there anything further questions? Yep, thank you. Mr.
So with regards to the project, there's a central hub which has some wiggly steel bits on it at the moment that will be planted out with native plantings, bushes and stuff like that. So that will be the green section and right in the middle of the spot. It's just the final thing they do once they put all the hard infrastructure in, they'll then hydroseed the plant.
Perfect. We'll try and Councillor Harbour.
Sorry, I'm just number 42. 42 again. The Aorangi Pavilion, is the repairs required to the stormwater guttering, the internal lining and heater replacement? Is that the 3 moderate maintenance repairs? Because I have been there regularly over the winter, and it certainly does look like nothing as much had happened to it since it was built. It's dusty and dirty inside. The roof, what do you call the skylighting has got algae, not algae. What is the right word? That's organic materials growing on it, and it needs, I'd say, would need a little bit more while we've got this reallocation of CapEx heading there, a 10-year upgrade.
That's noted. I think there's general agreement that the building's a bit tired from times we've been at it. As I said, CapEx reallocations like that do come back to council for approvals. We expect that this would come back specifically for you to say yes or no.
Just got to be careful there, because Andrew's going through a process of looking at the asset management of each of those buildings, because we have many tired buildings.
Yeah, that's basically what I was going to say, is this shows the value of having good asset management plans and maintenance plans, which we haven't had in the past, and we are developing now.
I'm still stunned an organisation like ours has never had any building asset management plans, considering what they have. And if we have the words reallocation of a budget, can we please know where the reallocation has come from? Because it may not be a priority for us.
Anything further? Before we move to resolutions, we've just got a wee bit to go. So resolution is on the board, can receive notes, the 3-month service performance reports. But I mean, lots of learnings and some challenges in there, but you know, lots of really positive stuff as well. So thank you to the wider team. So I'm here to move that from the chair, Councillor Wilson. Yep, second it. Put the motion out. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Alrighty, now we are 9.12. So overnight parking on grassy area at Caroline Bay. Welcome, Mr. Dixon. And there is 266.
All right, thank you, everyone. So this report here is about authorising, I guess, overnight parking, and I will stress the word parking, on the grassy area at Caroline Bay. We did a trial last year, first time, and opened it up to allow the overnight parking there on the grass. It was reasonably successful and certainly brought in quite some revenue, council. There were criticisms over the location of that area and the size of that area, which the space or demand exceeded the space. So I'm taking learnings from that this year. We have and we've shifted it over towards the bank area, under the trees, where people generally would like to be, and also we've increased the size of the area to allow for that greater demand. So this is, given that it's an extension to the parking bylaw, this has to be approved by council. So the choices are whether you wish to do this, allow it, or we can still just maintain daytime parking only on the grassed area. There is a permanent overnight parking in the 2 car parks in the Marine Parade and also in the Middle Loop, Port Loop area. So this is an additional to it.
And Mr. Dixon and I had to catch up with the President recently, just to sort of discuss this sort of stuff. My only question is, have we gone back to the Caroline Bay Association to tell them what area we were looking at, just so they've, as the main user over that time?
Yes, we have. We've had discussions with them, and also, I guess, made it clear too that they pay for the parking through my park app, and that the Caroline Bay Association doesn't actually collect or undercut us.
Yeah, undercut. But the idea is, obviously, this is revenue generating, so it can go back to service things on the bay. So questions in that regard, Councillor Whittington?
I guess it was semi-successful last year, but it was a bit of a circus as well. So what are we allowing to park down there? Because do they have to be self-contained? Who's monitoring that? Because there seem to be dogs, cars, gazebos, everything you can imagine down there. Is there a list of rules people read? Who's maintaining it? Or who's enforcing it? It just so I don't want the debacle and the number of pulls I got last year. And the Frisbee golfers aren't very happy either, because you put all the parking right through their course. But they'll just have to swallow that, I guess, for the period.
Yes, it is only for that 2-week period. But yeah, it is self-contained vehicles only that have been specified here. So the Motor Home Association, their members generally follow the rules very well. They are used to the system all around New Zealand. So generally people are well behaved in that area. Dogs are still not allowed on the bay. That's another bylaw. Yeah, so it is predominantly for those self-contained vehicles, effectively freedom camping.
Will there be monitoring? Just back up on that point at all?
There will be some monitoring, yes. Enforcement, I think we'll be relying mainly on the honesty of people. It is really enforcement of the paying for parking for the overnight. This is basically a car parking issue.
Yep. Yes, Councillor Jackson.
Just some transparency around that, the money that you made out of that, which was what, just a touch over $8,000 or something. So where does it go? Do we know exactly what it goes into? Just into a fund.
It is to be used for improvements on Caroline Bay, so the money is ring fenced.
Okay.
Parking.
Councillor Scott.
So just Andrew, I couldn't, so if I wanted to go and take my self-contained caravan down there, just every day I redo that, so I can't stay for like 10 nights. How's that gonna be monitored? Because it's overnight parking, so but do I just go on my app and just do the next day and the next day and the next day? So no one will move on, is what I am visualising. Is that okay?
That is allowable, yeah, so as long as they pay each night.
Yeah, because the other ones you can't do that though. You have to pay Kate, don't you?
Yeah, for your down marine parade, yes, they can.
Yes.
And there was the number there that be there for a week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we'll go to the resolutions on screen, 1, 2 and 3. Is everyone comfortable with, as that sits? Yeah. Okay, a few nods. Can I have a mover? Councillor Burt? Yeah, and seconder, Councillor Jackson. No further discussion. I will put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Go now to 9.13, road naming proposal for Timka.
Nigel.
Yes.
Yes. I just want to clarify whether I need to declare a conflict of interest.
Yeah, of course. What's the?
Well, this is the consent holder as a relative of mine.
Oh, right.
Mr. Dejoux.
Yep.
So I'm just clarifying, do I need, if I need to, but I'm declaring that.
Are you a relative through choice?
They're in the odds because he didn't.
Too good. No, look, it's road naming. I'm pretty comfortable. If you so wish, you can step aside, but it's yeah, it's okay. But take us on a good Temuka road naming. Does you? Aaron, thank you.
Thank you, and through you, Your Worship, I'll propose to take the report as read and just briefly summarise that, as you'll have noted, a new development has been consented for subdivision consent and is largely constructed. As part of that, a new road has been installed, which will vest to council at the time of titles being issued. Council's policy around road naming provides the decision used to sit with the infrastructure committee, but in its absence, the decisions come to council. The policy provides for 3 options to be brought forward. The developer put forward option number 1, which has been highlighted as the preferred option. And then in conjunction, my understanding, talking to Mr. Ching, the author of the report, 2 further options have been put forward, which were disclosed to the developer, and I leave that on the table for the council to provide a decision. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Councillor Shannon.
Thank you, Nigel. Yeah, there's 2 things going on here. For a start, I'm a real supporter, and if the developer is going through the process of investing significantly in a subdivision like this, that unless it's way over the top, I'm generally supportive of their recommendation for what they want to call their road anyway. But as far as this is concerned, the preferred name, Tarrant Lane, of course, I'd be super supportive of that being a Temuka. I myself have been able to see the subdivision from my house. And I know that the Tarrant family that has contributed so much to the Temuka community for generations, they'll be over the moon to be effectively invested into history. And there aren't many opportunities to do that, as you see. And this is where Alfred Bazan and T.E. Gunyon, as significant as they are, they've already got stuff named after them. And who knows, the Terrans, one generation in the future, instead they might be good. They might have a whole lot of daughters and they're all netball players rather than rugby players. So it'd be good to be able to look back and say, we had this family here. So I'm absolutely supportive of option one. And in fact, I would like to move the recommendation.
I'll let Tamuka get in on the show, and the second one from councillor Pike. Any further discussion? No, comfortable with parents? Yeah, okay. Move to the resolution. That proposed road from the site associated with subdivision consent is named Tarrant Lane. So I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. Awesome. Thank you. Then we go to Fitzgerald Road stopping between Looker Road and State Highway 1. That's page 311. How's everyone keeping up on the computers? Are they going okay? Mixed feedback? That's right, we can take that offline. Okay. Susie, welcome.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is a report that's actually already been up to the Infrastructure Committee, as you will have seen, I think in 2022. Yes, June 2022. Following on from that, we then had a request from Walking Access New Zealand that we don't use the Public Works Act and that we run through the section Local Government Act to enable the road stopping. So this is just requesting council that we permitted to continue on with the road stopping process, but change the act in which we were undertaking that road stopping process in. Any questions?
Yeah, it's all pretty self-explanatory. I'm happy to move it from the chair unless you want. Yep, thank you. Councillor Pye is the seconder. No discussion? No, perfect. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. It's carried. Perfect. Report. That was easy. Thank you, Susie. We go to CBD group parking petition to extend the free parking on Steph Street. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you. So obviously the report there is responding to the petition from the CBD group seeking an extension of the remaining 30-minute parking on Steph Street to 60 minutes. And members that have been around the table may recall a similar request in 2018, which has resulted in the successful trial because some of the businesses down there are a permanent change for the lower part of southern part of Stafford Street. So proposal extends the approach to the two remaining blocks for a low-cost 3-month trial. And obviously the report's got a bit of detail in there around the background, feedback received, consultation process. And obviously there's a bit of cautions there around parking turnover and revenue. It potentially will have an impact, but ultimately the officers do recommend we go ahead with the trial and report back with whatever evidence we can gather in the new year following that 3-month trial. And you're happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Yeah, so trial 2 zones, 3 months, an hour. Councillor Piddington, would you like to raise that? What from it?
Oh, no, look, I'm happy to move it. The CBD group are keen to try and reinvigorate the areas they can, and they're hoping this will help them. So why would we stand in their way?
Yeah, happy to second it. Yep, cool. And I'll, and then we'll go for questions, Councillor Pike.
I just, you kind of alluded to it in what you've just said before, but what are the measures of success going to be? And if we don't know what they are, why don't we just make it permanent now and stop wasting everyone's time with the trial? Like I don't understand how we're going to measure this. What are you going to come back with?
It'll really just be based on feedback. So the trial costs and the permanent installation costs there is basically no difference. It's just stickers going up on top of the P30 signs, changing it to a P60 sign. We'll obviously also keep the loading zones and the PSVs and the P5s as they are at the moment, but it'll just be what is currently P30 will change to P60. So it will basically be based on feedback. Well, if we get negative, positive feedback, and then if there is any feedback, we'll come back with the report on that. Otherwise, we'd, as mentioned in the report, we'd suggest just re-looking at the whole CBD parking arrangement in our upcoming parking strategy.
Thank you, councillor Shannon.
That answered the question I was just about to ask, but I think one of the things we're noting here is if you have a look at the breakdown of the fines, if you like, over the course of September and October, and you divide them by the number, they were almost all for those that had exceeded 30 minutes, but were less than 60 minutes. So even if you just look at these numbers, you'd say, we've got to extend it to 60 minutes. So we absolutely have to support what CBD wants to do.
Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, I'm supportive of the change. Just want to give an update on the, and maybe I missed it, I apologise in advance if I did, but the Safari Street Farmers Car Park, is that top deck open? Is that still going again now? Is it working? Just as far as parking is concerned? The CBD, do we know?
Top deck. I think the top deck. I think it's all open, isn't it? The farmers. There's the top deck of the farmers car park open.
Yes, it is, yeah.
Yep. Cool. Yep. Perfect. Okay. It looks like the right side are pretty supportive. What about the left side, Councillor Scott?
Oh, left side. Oh.
My left.
I'm in the middle. I'm inside. No, I am very supportive of this. I was just a bit surprised that this group excluded the national retailers. You know, these are the group to me is that we want to keep in our main street. And so I just wondered, and obviously Sue, your team proactively went out and engaged with the national retailers, which I think is great. And I can see that, you know, 10 didn't respond, so that's probably a bit disappointing. But do you know why they didn't want to connect with, you know, these retailers? Like, why did they decide to exclude them? I couldn't see anything in there to give me sense of that.
Yeah, couldn't answer accurately, but potentially the nationwide retailers might know parking to, as mentioned in the report, parking turnover equals increased foot traffic, which should in theory increase customers, but yeah, so I'm not entirely sure. But that was why obviously when we saw that gap, we ensured that we tended to close that gap by contacting those retailers.
I think one of the problems is it's hard to get someone from a co-op or something really large to answer that question. The local managers couldn't agree or disagree. It's not within their gambit.
But wouldn't you just filter that down to who's on the ground and say, hey, we've got this petition, but we need to participate. You're the manager locally. Like, we're trying to keep these people. We decide to exclude them.
Yeah, retailers are likely to account for a bigger footfall and attract more people anyway, and potentiate these other retailers. So,
Alrighty, we will come back to order. We have a resolution in front of us. We had the mover, which was Councillor Piddington. Seconder was Councillor Wilson. Is that correct? Yeah. Perfect. Is there any requirement for further discussion? No.
Tab 1. GP tell you about parking.
I don't need to know what GPT tells us. Right, we're going to move this. I put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against, carried. We'll do that another day. What we'll do a trial when there's someone away. We'll put a bot in there, a chat bot in their place, and see if AI does a better job. Right. Thank you. We're going to South Rangitata Reserve Management Plan 9.16. And then, just depending on timing, we're going to try and have a break, a 10-minute break at 4, just depending on this one. And then we've got the Pleasant Point pool upgrade, which we can bring back into public if everyone is in agreement, but we'll have to go into PX to do that. So we'll try and wrap the two up, but we'll see how we go. So go for it. Mr. Dixon.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this is a continuation of the review of the Rangitata Reserve Management Plan, which was last done in 2003. So it's well overdue to be reviewed. But also it was a request from council to do this, to review it. And it came in light of the fact that at the camping ground in the reserve there, the septic tank was failing. So there was a need perhaps to change that, either invest a lot of money into replacing that septic tank or reverting it to self-contained vehicles. So the reserve management plan draft here reflects the fact that the camping ground will operate as a self-contained vehicle only type arrangement. And the camping ground owner has actually got a license this year on that basis. So, but there are some other issues that we had to be dealt with and updated, and that's what this management plan is about. So we are following a legislative process. We have notified the intention to update the reserve management plan. We've received feedback. We've incorporated that feedback into a draft document, and now we're at the stage of going out to full consultation, formal consultation. So there is a consultation summary document and also a consultation plan, which we're putting forward to council to approve or endorse before putting that out to the public.
Thank you, Councillor Piddington.
I just wonder whether we missed a trick here. This has taken 3 years or so, and I just think because of where it sits at the river mouth and the sea, other councils are dealing with coastal inundation and what's going to happen in the future to these types of settlements. Mr. Dixon told me in 2033 all their leases are up. You know, there's going to be a storm if we don't start discussing the future of the settlement, and I wondered whether this is a missed opportunity with the hut holders, because 2032, 33 isn't far away, and a big decision will have to be made then whether you renew those leases or not, depending on the environment.
Yeah, this document is about how we manage the reserve, the land. It's not about how we manage the hut owners. So I think that is a separate discussion. The management plan enables huts to be there. It also clearly states that it's the owner's responsibility for any potential loss. So the area is not a high erosion area. So we're looking at the next 100 years, the erosion. And there's only a couple of sites that might be impacted. But it is subject to inundation, seaward inundation, with sea level rise, potential sea level rise. So yeah. But yeah, I guess as we get closer to 2033, that'll be a decision the council need to make.
Kind of agree with Councillor Piddington. I just wonder if we need to be more explicit about that in the reserve management plan, in that, the risks of coastal inundation are the hut holders, and there's no managed retreat plan here. And I also think we need to be a bit careful about what we're promising to provide there, because if all of a sudden there's not hut holders there, we possibly don't want to provide those services going forward. But perhaps, that's probably 20 years down the track and the plan will be reviewed before then.
Possibly reviewed before.
Yeah, true. I do have a few other things.
No, I tend to agree, though. It is an opportunity to have those harder conversations, and I think we need to, direct that a little bit, as well.
I'm certainly happy to add some words in around that before we go into consultation. Yeah.
Okay, so if we look at the resolution, one endorse the consultation, it's a statutory doc, approve the consultation summary, and then the third one, that the group manager assets and infrastructure with the mayor be authorised to make minor changes reflective, perhaps we had that reflect the conversation relative to the concerns around coastal inundation term. Do you want a term of leases? Maybe term of leases. Councillor Piddington, jump in.
How long are your leases now? Like they expire then?
All the leases have the same term.
Yes, they've got rights for renewal. The first is 1st July 23, second 28, and then the final on 33.
So, we just need to encapsulate. So let's go, in consultation with the mayor, be authorised to make, changes, minor changes, that includes, 10-year of lease and, coastal, is it coastal retreat? That's.
Managed retreat.
Yeah, managed retreat.
No, sure. When we look at the history, if you look at page 340 and 341, those pictures going right back to 85, it looks like 85 to 88, there was some sort of change there, but the rest of them, those pictures right through until 2024, it looks identical. And I think the inundation is actually the odd king tide. Would that be correct?
I think the challenge though,
It relates to basically sea level rise, should that happen. So,
Yeah, but how long away is that?
Do with the king.
yeah, well, that's unknown. It could be over the next 50 years, 100 years.
if we think to the future, there's septic tanks, there's other things that sit currently under Environment Canterbury that might fall in this council's lap to manage. That we might just have to be aware of. That'll be a secondary discussion, obviously, outside of the management plan, but I think it's the opportunity of the conversation now. So,
But there's also with the potential change, the reserve sitting right behind it is ECAS.
Yeah.
But that's needs to come into the conversation when the changes are made, and maybe we just gotta wait for that.
might be an easier conversation.
Yes.
Yeah, go for it, councillor.
I have some kind of minor questions and feedback, but maybe I'll just email them through. It's just like you refer to the infrastructure committee that no longer exists.
Yeah.
It refers to providing toilets, and it's not clear about who's going to provide them around public events and things like that, but I might just email them through the kind of minor details. But I just, my main one was around that camping ground, and the way I read it in the report, I was confused. But the intention is to continue as it's running now, isn't it? It's not to close down and take the lease away and just have freedom camping areas. It's to have a self-contained campground. Is that right?
That is correct.
I'm just not sure that's 100% clear in the document.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll pick that up as we, before we sign it off. So we boots to those resolutions. Is everyone comfortable with what's on the screen? Yep. Okay, cool. Mover and seconder. Councillor Shannon, Councillor Wilson. Any further discussion? No. Oh, one. No, that's good. Go for it.
Sorry, I just noted one that was, I thought, quite a stringent proposal around the caravans and the camper vans that are allowed on the sections. Sorry, I forgot about that. And it's kind of suggesting you can only have one if that's owned by a family member. And I'm kind of going, why are we being so harsh there? It's their bit of land, they lease it. Surely they can have a friend who owns a camper van, put their camper van there. I'm trying to think about what problem we're trying to solve, but we could take that offline.
Yeah, that's a legacy for past. We haven't proposed any changes to those words, but probably matches with the lease document as well.
Yeah, and how are we enforcing that anyway? How are you going to prove those?
We
Yeah,
don't.
and hopefully,
Exactly.
I mean, hopefully we'll get a bit of feedback on some of those points as well. So, okay.
There's a number there that she's lived there as well longer than they should.
Yeah, and I get that, but I'm
Definitely enforcing that too.
Cool. So ahead of moving a second for the discussion. No. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. Against carried. It was Councillor Wilson and Councillor Shannon. I can't remember which way around it was. Was that correct? I think it was Shannon and then Wilson. Was it? Yeah, Shannon Wilson. Yeah. Thank you. Perfect. We're moving on to 4. So we'll just take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back. At that point, we do need to move into PX, but we're likely to come back out to deal with the Pleasant Point pool. So we'll just have 5 minutes and then we'll get back into that. Yep, alrighty, welcome back. Again, in regard to 13.2 on the PX agenda, we can in public resolve to move that to public. What I would suggest, maybe we just leave out the, just the numbers in regard to the, you're happy to have a high level conversation just without the naming of the business that's quoted in the figure. Is everyone comfortable with that? We'll just redact that point for now. Okay, cool. Happy to move it. Councillor Piddington, happy to second. Put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye. It's carried. Okay, based on that, we will now move to 13.2. Oh.
Open it up again.
Stop. Already, welcome Stephen and Ben. Go for it. Take us through.
Thank you. I'll take the report as read. I know that all but three of you have been across this from the start, and welcome to Councillors Wilson, Thomas and Harper. Is Harper? Oh, Harper. Yeah, happy to take any questions. Please feel free.
Thanks for that, Ben. Read the report, kind of understand it. I'm a bit concerned on the number of levels. We agreed to the first part, ending over, then we find out there's another 70k. I'm not quite sure why that was missed. What interested me with this pool though, what other costs have we got coming in the next 5 or 10 years? Because I don't want to do this. We've done the heating system. Now we've got to do the changing rooms. Now we've got to do the infrastructure. Is this it as far as you know, or is there more money to spend?
Great question. I'll answer the first one just in regards to concern around the extra $70,000 that came up. Just to give all the councillors a bit of context, we've done a similar infrastructure upgrade at both the Geraldine and Temuka pools. When we did those infrastructure upgrades, there was no consultation around transformers with Alpine Energy. Yeah, with Alpine Energy, sorry, just wasn't sure what company. That company realised about around transformer upgrades for the pools, and for both of them, it wasn't needed. It was absolutely fine. So it took us by surprise that when we went to talk about plugging in these new heat pumps, that all of a sudden Alpine came back and said that we needed a transformer upgrade. So that's where the extra $70,000 came in. Extra work coming up. There is significant extra work that is needed on the Pleasant Point pool, namely 2 major projects over the next 2 to 5 years. One of them is relining both the 25 metre and Marina pools, which could equal up to $250,000, and then replacement of our chemical filtration system, which is another roughly $100,000. So significant infrastructure is needed.
Sorry, you did that really well, Ben, but just for clarity for me, 250 for the liners. And what was the other amount?
The other amount was $100,000 for a changing of our filtration systems.
So really, all of a sudden, if we looked at over 5 years, it's not 270, it's 620.
It's more. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and then I'm probably getting ahead of myself, but you know, we have talked, you know, recently is the model for those pools different? You know, as a community model, because that would strip out operational costs potentially, and then you know what is, you know, do we look at actually putting some capital involved to get it to a point? Is that the likes of solar? Have we hit? I know we brought that up previously. Ben, has that been looked at any? Or was it too large a quantity of water to heat effectively or even partially heat?
It was subsidised, but it would need that then would also require us to upgrade the changing rooms to carry weight of solar panels and things. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it is a big discussion on you know, trying to pull out their OPEX moving forward, and then what upgrades do we do? Councillor Piddington.
Yeah, look, I'm concerned we can't really make well, in my opinion, make a decision on 620k. because we made it on 200, I get that. 270, I might be persuaded on return. But now we're at 600 over the next 3, 4, 5 years. It's a different discussion, I think, and one we need to take back to the point community, because say we hand it over to the community, they won't want to have to do that back end. So you spend 600 and possibly the community might be interested or might not. I think we need to take a breath. That's my opinion.
And as far as that operational risk, the gas is still in place now, so it can be heated for summer. It's just that cost of running it, yeah.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, it's functional, still running. Yeah.
Andrea?
There could be another way of funding it, because you could have a targeted rate for the Pleasant Point community to actually pay for those upgrades, similar to what we did with Seabay. When it was operational, there's a targeted rate for a certain period of time to repay the particular cost associated with that build. So it's just another option.
Well, I live in Pleasant Point and I don't use Seabay. Should I have to pay for that?
I had to listen to the feedback up.
No, you're right though. Different options is key. So this side, yep, councillor Burt.
Is this just in time maintenance, or you're not sweating the asset to the nth degree? You're just doing probably what would be prudent. Is there time? That's what I'm saying.
For those extra upgrades or for the heat
Extra upgrades.
For the extra upgrades, yeah, there is some time, but those things will need replaced in the next 2 to 5 years. It becomes more critical when those liners wear out further and you get leakages and things like that. And then for the filtration system, it's very outdated. So you could survive for a certain amount of time, but it's past use by. So ticking time bomb.
It's a health issue,
yeah.
Councillor Pye.
I tend to agree with Councillor Piddington. I think this has all of a sudden become a much bigger amount that I'd be uncomfortable approving here. And I think we need to go back to the community, understand whether the school has a pool and you know what usage there is there, and do some modelling on the targeted rate and whether the community wants to do that. And so to me, it feels like an annual plan or a long-term plan matter.
It's 3 times today. Further over that side. Over the side.
I was going to ask questions about the report, but I feel like you've just sort of like thrown a, what do you want to do, question? I've got questions on the report because I can get your numbers to add up, Ben, and so obviously the heat pumps come in at 155,000, which is 5,000 over the original price. That's 5,000 dollars. But then your price from Morris Waddell, it's oh, I'm sorry. Oopsie. I didn't get it. I'm sorry. The cost does not meet what you're asking. So I can't find 30,000, but also there's a lot of tag outs in that. So you've got trenching, you've got a lot of work. So is that where 30,000 is? Just making sure you're covering all of your bases in this project. Think like a project. There's a lot of tag outs in there.
Good question. The quote provided by unnamed business. It's just part of the project. So there's that part, and then there's also the part from Alpine Energy to replace the transformer itself. We're trying to cover all aspects of this project that we can see, but I'd have to get Mike to give you specifics on things like trenching. I'm sure that they've included that in the quote, but I'd have to ask Mike.
So it feels to me that we've got 4 pools. I don't think we have 4 really robust asset management plans for them. I think that's our starting point, is that to ensure that we understand what we've got with all 4. Because I know when I went out to one of the 4, and I'm not going to name it because you lost, I stood outside and I thought, this thing is not being maintained. And you know, with the, you know, just the look of it, and I'm going, we need to be better than this. And I actually think doing this piecemeal, this is our normal modus of operandi. This is looking like another Strathallan. It's looking like another Hackfire. So these two are properly. What exactly do we need to do for these?
I presume you weren't standing outside Sea Bay.
Okay.
Just, no, I can actually get, I don't know if I've got access to it, but if I do, I can send them. Otherwise, I can get Mike to send them when he's back. We do have, pretty robust asset plans on site, so I'll send those through.
That'll be good.
Yeah, I think as far as asset management planning, the all stuff's pretty good as far as what's programmed, isn't it? What I can see. There may not be money in the budget though, Nigel, to do some of those things. That might be a different point.
That's the point to bring to council. So
Yeah.
that's the point to bring it here to say, here's our priorities.
Yeah, but we do need to go through some hypotheticals on what our OPEX costs across some of these pools might be pulled back in the new environment. Councillor Jackson.
Yeah, I'm sure we're not the only council that is facing this sort of problem with, you know, community pools. So what are other councils doing? You know, trust.
Yep, there's different model.
Years and
Yep, and some of that stuff was in the 17A, I think. You know, Hines is the closest one that I can think of as a different model, isn't it? It's a community model. Yep, so.
certainly think this one here now is one that's because I have to think even harder about it, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
Moving forward.
I mean, the other challenge is, you know, the community model as far as funding into the future, how robust is that as well? But, you know, yeah, Councillor Thomas.
Do we know what you mentioned the operational cost savings and going out to a different model? What do we have those here? Do we know what the operating costs are?
Yep, the saving would be approximately $60,000 a year for moving from gas to electricity.
I think
I meant other operating costs.
I think the whole way you run them changes. So the standards and the requirements get significantly reduced. Ben will know more, but like the lifeguards, you can change them so that you actually don't have them.
Are you saying if we were to gift all the pools to the community, is that what you're asking, councillor?
No, I was really just asking, working off that particular one and saying, okay, I realise that there's a $60,000 saving. That's for a technology upgrade or energy system upgrade, which is 60,000 a year. It's going to cost 220. Is it the?
Yeah, so that'll essentially, if we were going status quo and we weren't doing anything else, it'd pay itself off in 4 seasons. Yeah.
Four seasons, yeah, okay. And we're already into this season, so you wouldn't be doing it until the next season anyhow. So it wouldn't actually pay itself off until 2030 or whenever that is, basically, okay? Over that period of time, if we were to move to a community model of operation, how much would we save?
Yeah, good question. Savings would obviously be significant because the cost to run the pools is exponential compared to the profit that we bring in. However, I think one thing we've got to be very careful about if we're teasing the idea of giving it to the community is that there is a significant infrastructure upgrade that we'd probably still have to do to ensure that it was ready to hand over. So just something that we need to consider, I think, if we're going to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Okay, well, it looks like we're going to take this offline. Yeah, Councillor Pike.
So would it be worth circulating that 17A report to the new councillors?
Me too.
Yeah, and let's pick this up as a bit of a work stream. Not to see, but yeah, it's got you. Yeah, it's just across the whole. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it could, let's try and for annual plan. And yeah.
Can you just refresh me, Ben, the 17A report, did it highlight the 600,000 capital we're going to need over the next 2 to 5 years?
I think it's
good question.
think it's standing outside and the.
Yes, that's right.
What was necessarily referred to. No, that's cool. Okay, so what we're going to do is just look to park this matter with no decision. And we will, yeah, come back to, I just don't think we need to decline or vote it down at all. I think we'll just park it and we'll come back into the new year. And pick that, but maybe up under you. Do you think, Councillor Spy? There's some, yeah, okay, perfect, cool, okay, thank you. Everyone comfortable with that? Sorry, just nods in that regard, yeah. Okay, brilliant, thank you.